In today's episode, we're exploring Pho Elbow, a staple in Calgary when it comes to Vietnamese restaurants. But first, let's meet Hannah.
My name is Hannah Chu. I am the daughter of the owner of the restaurant, so I help with the management and the front of house. Pho Elbow actually existed before we took it over. We took it over in 2008. And I think we've always just been super involved in the food community. We love to go out to eat, and we thought this was such a special place in the Vietnamese community, and we saw it as a listing in 2008, and we decided to, go for it. And it was my parents' first real entrepreneurship endeavor, and yeah, it's been going ever since.
We will jump into many dishes that other Vietnamese restaurants don't typically serve. Welcome to All Feast YYC.
The first day we opened, I was actually 7 years old, so it's a little bit tough for me to kind of explain how it went down, but I remember from a young age, I was always here. After school, they'd pick me up, I'd be in the back, and it was always very interesting to me, my life compared to another kid's life. I grew up in the restaurant industry, and I've grown up with customers, and they've seen me grow up, so it's very, very interesting to see that really play out. Beyond serving food, the restaurant has always been a place of community for us, and we want to feed people, and we truly believe in the best quality ingredients and making sure people get the best quality no matter what time of day.
And this is the part where we all feast. All right, Hannah, where do we start?
We're gonna start on the beef carpaccio, or the bát tai chân. So this is the raw beef dish that I was talking about earlier. So this is a sliced rare beef with a house hot sauce, lime juice, sprinkled with herbs, onions, shallots, chilies, and topped with a raw quail egg. So some people are quite intimidated by this dish just because of the raw factor.
Yeah.
But it's so good. It's refreshing. We in the kitchen, we make sure to keep it at a specific temperature, make sure that everything is of best and utmost quality so that, the customers don't have to be scared.
Yeah.
But yeah, dig in.
Is there a certain way you're supposed to eat it? Or
So some people just dig in with beef. Some people mix the yolk in to get it a little creamier.
Yeah.
I do a mix of both. Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna try the yolk.
Yeah.
Ooh.
That's
Yolk dip.
good stuff.
There we go.
Amazing.
There you go. The vinaigrette, taste to it with the garlic and all the herbs. Mixes in so well.
And it has that tanginess where you just want to keep eating it.
Yeah.
You won't get sick of those flavors.
So
you just want to keep going.
Yeah, you can just have that the entire plate all on your own too.
Exactly. Exactly. All right.
Yeah, it's a little bit spicy,
A little bit spicy, especially if you get one of those bird's eye chilies in there. It'll hit you, yeah.
It'll kick.
The biggest challenge my parents faced when they first opened this restaurant was definitely just bringing in the clientele and kind of catering to the original clientele because it was already an existing restaurant. With the existing clientele, they had this kind of expectation from our restaurant, and it had to taste a certain way. We had to have certain dishes. But that just kind of wasn't who we were, and we struggled to kind of keep up with that expectation. Eventually, we ended up revamping our menu, giving kind of a little facelift, and that's kind of when our personalities came out to show. In my opinion, Vietnamese cuisine is a little bit underrated. I think that there's a lot of hype when it comes to Asian cuisine, but not necessarily the Southeastern kind, especially Vietnamese food. With Vietnamese food, people tend to think it's on the cheaper end, it's quick, it's low effort. But I think that there's a lot of love and care that goes into Vietnamese food that you don't see with the carefully crafted sushi and all of those things. And Chinese food is really quick as well. And I think there's a good in-between with Vietnamese food. There's quick and easy, but there's also very complex flavors, and it just screams comfort to me as well. And that just might be because I grew up with it, but yeah, there's just so many homey flavors that really just feel like a warm hug at the end of the day. All right, next we're gonna try this one. This is our taro rice cake, or also known as bok chiên.
Yeah.
So this is kind of like a Vietnamese omelet with house-made taro rice cakes, and then just a scrambled egg on top, some pickled veggies, some onions. In Vietnam, we actually, the rice cakes are a little bit thicker and more dense. Here, we kind of cater to the Western palate, and we slice them a little bit thinner, and we make them nice and crispy, which is how I like it.
Oh, yeah.
And then there's like a sauce on the side that's like a little bit of a vinaigrette, kind of breaks that down there.
Chopsticks as a knife.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Oh, I like to get some of the carrots.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh. See that? Oh, yeah.
So good. It's such a simple dish, but comes together so nicely.
So good, like the sweet and sour, and then like the crispiness. And then the egg, I feel like the sauce kind of latches onto the egg. Right? Just get more of the flavors in the sauce. Oh, but definitely right choice with the carrots and stuff like that too. It gives it that like fresh crunch.
Exactly. It's like a little bit of balance because it's a lot of grease and a lot of oil.
Oh.
That pickled veggie really breaks that down.
So good. All right. So that's another appetizer.
That is another appetizer, yeah. I'd say growing up, our family, we love noodle soup. I think every woman in our family loves a good noodle soup. Being a small business and an entrepreneur, I think my parents really sacrificed how we grew up. As I mentioned, like me and my siblings, we would be in the back corner with our homework. And that's not typically something you see in a childhood, right? Like you usually go home after school, have dinner, do homework at home. For us, we'd immediately come here after school, help out where we can, and we actually ended up scootering around here. If you know, you know. I think those are some of the biggest sacrifices they did, is not being able to spend as much time as a regular parent would. I'm not saying I was neglected as a child, but they were still very loving, but it was definitely not a conventional childhood for sure. During COVID was kind of the most stressful and most hard time for a business. And that was just because of the adaptability and the flexibility that we had to undergo. Pho is not typically a takeout meal, especially in Vietnam, and here it's meant to be enjoyed right away. And so moving our entire restaurant into takeout mode and to social distancing mode was extremely difficult and extremely stressful. We had to learn about all these delivery apps and how to set up a patio in our parking lot. And how we overcame that is that adaptability, researching into, hey, can we put a patio in a dingy parking lot on 17th Ave? How do we social distance ourselves? How can we keep feeding people and still have that good quality that we mentioned before? Really pushed us through is we have our customer base and we have our clientele, and they love our food and we love them, and we just wanted to keep it going. We didn't want to shut down. We didn't want to stop feeding and stop sharing our love for food. And yeah, that is how we overcame that. And then our last appetizer that we're gonna try today is our bone marrow with toast.
Oh.
This is actually the calf bone of the cow.
Oh.
And when you slice it through the middle, you get this like beautiful bone marrow. It's kind of like beef butter almost.
Yeah.
We put some Vietnamese baguette or French baguette on the side so that you can smother it. It's like good vessel for it.
Yeah.
Really, really rich. I can't have too much of this myself, but it's the first few bites are so addicting. It's a really good shareable item.
Okay. Confession, I've never had bone marrow, so
okay.
I don't really know how to eat this.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, so I would grab your piece of toast, little spoon, and we're just gonna dig for gold.
Oh. So it's like a very gelatinous.
Yeah, gelatinous. We make sure to render the fat so it's like it's really good. Then yeah, you just kind of spread it there like butter and enjoy.
Is bone marrow fat?
It is. It's essentially just the fat of inside the bone.
Yeah.
Really rich, really buttery.
Okay. Spread it like butter.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then some people actually order this into their pho as well, and it like really enhances the flavor.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah. Cheers.
Cheers. Here we go. This is like the elevated version of like butter and toast.
Exactly. That's exactly right. A little bit on the saltier end, and It's really, really rich. So
Oh, yeah.
I'd always try to get like something like this and a beef carpaccio so it balances out.
Oh yeah. And what's the sauce on top of it?
So this is just a very simple seasoning. We try to like not complicate it too much to bring out like that really nice flavor.
Nice.
Make it,
Because it's like spicy.
yeah, a little bit spicy. To be honest, I don't know this recipe. Like they just tell me seasoning, and I'm like, okay, yeah, it's pretty good.
I love it.
Yeah.
Especially like putting it in pho would be, oh my gosh.
Yeah,
amazing.
it would be it's so good. And a lot of people do that here. Like we'll have lots of bowls with just like the big bone marrow sticking out.
And
So good.
it's got like that theatrics a little bit.
Yeah, a little
With like
bit.
dinosaur bones sticking out.
For sure. In dinosaur country, you bet. At the start, my family had a very hard time delegating. It's their first entrepreneurial endeavor. They didn't really know what they should hands off and what they should just keep hands on. So in the first maybe decade, no, not even decade, maybe a little bit less than a decade, they were very hands-on. They didn't take any breaks. They were barely going on vacation. They were working every day, 10 to 8. And I think in hindsight, they wish they took a little bit more time off and worried a little bit less just because they know they had a good team.
To make a bowl of pho, time is the most important ingredient because of the broth. It starts off with toasting the herbs,
That I put that one first. Put onion, ginger, seasoning here, sugar, salt, fish salt, and then all my seasoning here. Turn on that my a bit oil here, fat. After it boil, and then I will cook the noodle.
The noodles take only a few seconds to cook. Any longer will render the noodles too soggy. Now time to assemble the bowl. We will be served the special, which includes a variety of beef and garnishes.
Frank tendon, try meatball, and whey beef. But the soup you have to wait. You have to wait for the hours, and then you'll be good.
Then finally, the piping hot soup gets poured into the bowl, completing this delicious noodle soup.
That's the noodle soup. You guys have to try it.
I'd say this restaurant really showed me what hard work and the good work ethic builds, and being able to connect with the community is kind of what builds that community. You can't just have good food. You have to have good service. You have to have connectability. This restaurant brought me out of my shell when I was a kid. I was very introverted and I didn't want to talk to people, very stereotypical introvert, but being exposed to customers and the customer service industry, it really puts into perspective like how to talk to people and again, how to build community. We have our banh mi, which is a Vietnamese submarine.
So would some say that this is like an appetizer too, or like people usually get this as like an entree type of thing?
I think typically people like to get it more as an entree than as a shareable, but I do have a lot of customers who come in, share a sub, and grab a soup just because the soup is that good. And yeah, the thing about banh mi's is it was French influence, right? So we have the French baguette, and then we have all the Vietnamese toppings inside. What I love about banh mi is just like that bread. The bread makes it so good. It's crispy on the outside, fluffy on the inside, and it's a sandwich you've like never had before, for sure.
Yeah.
So this is our satay beef, so spicy beef, and the inside has the cilantro, carrots, pickled carrots, cucumbers, and some chilies as well. So beware of that kick.
Oh yeah, I'm down for a kick, All right, cheers.
Cheers.
Oh yeah, it's still so crispy. The ASMR. It's good. That's so good.
So good, like no words. Like it's perfection in one bite, really.
Yeah. Like actually though, like the beef on the inside there, it's like tender. You're not trying to like chew on it for forever.
Exactly. Super tender, super saucy, little bit of a kick from the satay.
And the bread.
The bread.
Like it's fresh.
It's fresh, it's crispy. We get it from like a local bakery here, so it's really, really good.
Yeah, it's definitely got the crispiness still.
I was 7 when this place opened, but I think I ate pho like way before then. Like it was just a home staple, you know? I think any Vietnamese kid ate pho at home. When you eat pho, I think a lot of people make the mistake of adding in all these condiments and veggies before actually tasting the broth, and that can really dictate how you enjoy a good bowl of pho. So my recommendation to people is to actually take a sip of the broth first before you temper it. And that's when you can really appreciate that 16-hour bone broth and feel all of the hard work and the love that goes into the soup. And then you know, go crazy with the sauces and all of the things that make your pho your pho. But yeah, that would be my recommendation. Now into the meat and potatoes, or I guess the noodles. Noodles. So we're gonna start with our regular broth so that you can taste, you know, the original, the OG.
Yeah, the authenticity. So like you were saying earlier, yeah, you don't season and kind of ruin the broth.
Quote unquote ruin. So I'd recommend just trying the broth straight up before you add any hoisin or sriracha or, you know, bean sprouts or anything, because even like a bean sprout really takes away from the flavor. It kind of almost dilutes it. So you want to taste that broth and make sure that, you know, it's full of that beef flavor. So
okay,
let's do that.
Let's get it. Here we go. I usually close my eyes for this.
All right, here we go.
The OG flavors. I taste the herbs, you know.
You can taste all of those, like the star anise, the cinnamon, cardamom.
All the time it took to boil everything.
Exactly, yeah. Like it takes a lot of work. It's the bones are boiled for 16 hours. It's on the stove there.
Yeah.
We never have a pot that's not brewing for the next day. It's so good.
It's like the stove is constantly on, hey?
Just like a bit dangerous, but it's so worth it. Like, you need that beef to render, and it's so well worth it.
I can taste the danger. All right, now let's get some of the noodles and stuff.
For sure. So in this soup specifically, there is it's a special, so it comes with like rare beef, flank, tripe, beef ball. But when you come to the restaurant, like, you can order any combination you like. So if you only like beef ball, you can do that. If you only like rare beef and flank, you can do that.
I like all of the meats.
Yeah.
All of it. Yeah. Usually I'm just ordering the special, you know?
We like appreciate all the whole animal.
Yeah. So would you say like Vietnamese food is like a family style type of cuisine?
I think it can be.
Yeah.
If you're going out for a bowl of pho, I think it's a little bit less family style and a little bit more, you know, selfish.
Yeah.
You don't want to share this bowl.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
True.
But with things like the beef carpaccio and the bone marrow and the taro rice cake, it's definitely more shareable and more family style. And then even at home, like, that's typically how you eat, right? Like it's just sharing a meal, and I think meal times are very sacred to Vietnamese people.
Yeah. Even I would say like Vietnamese like drinking culture, like they like to share like you drink at the same time.
Exactly. Drinking culture is huge. And like we even have like sayings. You count down from 3, or sorry, you count up from 3, and then you go yo, and everyone's happy, everyone's having a good time, and it
gets hype.
Yeah, for sure.
I love the texture of the noodles. Definitely, it does carry a lot of the flavors from the broth and everything.
Exactly.
What's your favorite meat from the cow?
I'd say I like our sliced rare beef. It's like super tender. Can't go wrong with it. Sometimes I even put it on the side and then add it to the broth slowly, so that it's like not like too well done. One of my favorite ways to eat it, for sure. Growing up, I was definitely just like a beef ball kid, and, you know, just like typical classic beef ball.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I'm leaning more towards the special as I grow older and like learn to appreciate it more.
Nice. Do you like just do like a quick dip in the soup and then just eat the raw beef?
I did at one point in my life, and it's so good. And you just know, because the soup is so hot that you know it's gonna cook right away, so it's perfect.
Right. It's a little pink and then so good.
I don't think we've ever encountered somebody who's never had pho before. But if we did encounter somebody who hasn't, I think if I had to describe it in one sentence, it would be like one big warm hug. I think I've said that like 3 times now, but that's essentially what it is. It's comfort food at its finest. It feels good on a cold winter day. It's comforting when you're sad. It's comforting when you're happy. It's a good celebratory meal. It's a good, craving meal. It's simple, but it's rich. And when you taste the broth, it feels simple, but you can taste the complexities in all the seasonings with the star anise, the cinnamon.
All right, this is the star of the show, you were saying.
Yeah, this is the star of the show. So this is our pho satay, or our spicy peanut broth. Kind of what put us on the map a little bit, what people come back for again and again. Really rich broth. So this broth actually started out as the regular broth. So that 16-hour broth, clear, clean, and then we mix in, or we revamp it with our satay paste. Secret recipe, even I don't know it. You have to bug the boss.
Even you don't know it.
Yeah, it's like the Coca-Cola formula where they have to fly separately. Like it's so locked down.
It's a different kitchen.
Exactly. But yeah, this is really good. This one, you don't have to appreciate as much blind, but it's really it tastes really good all mixed in together.
Yeah. No, I see that. It's like, it looks very deceiving in a sense that like it seems like it's super, super spicy because it's so red. So like, what would you rate this from like a 1 to 10?
1 to 10, so 1 being not spicy, 10 being super spicy. Where would you rank like sriracha on this 1 to 10?
4?
I'd give this maybe like a 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like, if a customer were to walk in, would you be like, oh, this is like a 5 out of 10?
I always ask them if they think sriracha is spicy before I tell them anything, because I don't want to be too deceiving. I personally don't think it's spicy at all.
Yeah.
But I have coworkers who think it's like the spiciest thing in the world. So it all really depends on your spice tolerance.
Yeah. Okay. So I'd be like, is toothpaste spicy?
That's true. Yeah, is toothpaste spicy? And if they say yes, then I'm like, maybe you should go for like the mild. But that's the great thing about this soup, is we can do it less spicy. We just kind of mix in the regular broth. You still get that flavor.
Oh yeah.
But you can still tolerate it a bit more. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Okay. It's good to know. Here we go. Cheers.
Cheers.
Very creamy.
Very creamy. Yep.
And that's from the coconut?
Yeah, there's a little bit of coconut in there. The peanut comes through.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, the spice level is pretty accurate, I would say. 5 out of 10.
5 out of 10.
Yeah.
A little bit spicier than sriracha, but not crazy.
So we have the raw beef. And then the noodles.
Yeah, I'm doing a nice noodle pull.
Here we go.
Like, how far can you go?
Come on, no!
Let's go! Ah! Awesome.
What's your noodle pull? Like, have you ever gotten a really good one?
Sometimes, like I feel like the noodles for like pho here, especially because we don't. It's harder to get fresher noodles in Canada.
Yeah.
But the fresher it is, the longer you can pull it.
There you go.
Dang. So yeah.
Oh yeah, I got that raw beef.
Yep. That like barely cooked, you know?
Yeah.
Soup.
About that life.
Me too.
Keep that Carpaccio life.
Yes.
Okay, here we go. It's crazy how different, like, they're both noodle soup, right? But it's like so different.
But yet they came from the same place.
Yeah.
Which is so crazy.
It is.
Mind-blowing. Carpaccio is like one of the most underrated dishes that I think people should try. I like another noodle soup called Hungwe, which is like a spicy lemongrass soup. That one's one of my faves.
That is like your top.
Yeah, that would probably be my top. I'm actually like secret. I don't like pho noodles. But I love our pho satay. I get the broth, and then I like mix and match the noodles. Like some people like to get egg noodles or like the round noodles, and it's kind of customizable in that way. But I love this satay broth. It's one of my favorites.
Yeah, it's so good. Like the creaminess, like you would not expect it to be so like creamy, and it's like.
it hits it like, and it's something you wouldn't expect. Like if you read spicy peanut soup, you're kind of like, what the heck is that?
Yeah.
And a lot of people come in and they're like, what is that? And you gotta just trust me.
Yeah.
You gotta try it, and then you be the judge. And then, like 9 out of 10 times they love it and they come back and they can never stop gabbing it.
That'll get them.
Yep.
Right? And then this is...
So this is a fried donut stick.
Yeah.
So in Vietnam, we like to dip things. So even with the banh mi, with donut sticks, we like to dip a carb into a soup. And we wanted to bring that here because we don't really see that here. So typically we'd take it, dip it into the soup. It's just another carb to enjoy that flavor. You could get it with the regular broth or the satay broth, but I'd recommend the satay broth. It's
even for the regular broth.
Yeah, so people do like it in there too.
Nice. All right, let's peel this together.
Yeah, let's
ready for the camera.
3, 2, 1.
Oh, perfect. It's perfect. Okay. So there's no like particular way that we gotta do it? We
No,
just,
you just dunk it in.
dunk. Do you let it like soak a little bit?
I let it soak a little bit. If you like it really soggy, then like I'd leave it in there a little longer. Some people throw it in at the start and then eat it at the end.
Whoa. So it's like super
soggy, yeah.
That's a little too soggy for me.
I agree.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Like that changes the flavor even.
It's like
Like the broth is no longer just the satay broth. It actually
exactly.
tastes different.
It's a new way to enjoy your pho.
I'm gonna double dip.
Do it. It's so worth.
Yeah, do you guys sell bum bo here?
We do.
Oh.
It's a little different than the one that you would see in like Vietnam. It's our grandma's recipe, so she kind of catered it to us.
Yeah.
We love it so much, so we catered it to everybody else, and people seem to like it as well.
No, I love that. I love that dish too. Anyways, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, that wraps it up.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you. It's incredible to see how many people have come in since they were young. Like they came in with their parents, and then now they're like in their adulthood, and they're bringing their girlfriends and boyfriends, and they're getting married, and they're having kids, and it's just so incredible to see other families grow up other than your own, and you've created this sense of community and this sense of family. And I think that is definitely the most rewarding part, in seeing generations come in to enjoy your food. My younger self, eat more pho for sure. But from a business perspective, it's that take more breaks again, worry less, have trust in your team. And then from my perspective is just learn more about Vietnamese culture. I think learning about your own heritage is very special to a restaurant. If you know what you're talking about, if you know the root and the core of your business, then you can take it anywhere, really.